Today we're wrapping up the series that I began at the beginning of the month, Flight to Transformation. And so today we are on that flight to transformation, individually and collectively as a spiritual community. We have filed our flight plan on Spirit Air. We have actually boarded the plane. That took a little bit of courage. We boarded the plane. We did a pre-flight check to make sure everything's engaged, that we're doing the right things, we're paying attention to stuff, we're leaving cargo behind that we no longer need, and we're taking with us what we really need to move into the future. We have been pre-approved for takeoff, so we're ready to take off. And in fact, last week we actually did take off. So we're in the air, and while we're in the air, we have been so wise to check in with Source and correct our course all along the way. Because I don't know if you all remember this from last week, or if you know it if you weren't here, that any airplane that is in flight is off course 99% of the time. So they're constantly making little course corrections. And so we're doing that too, but we're checking in with the source of the flight plan, with the source of all that exists in the cosmos, with Spirit itself. Actually, Spirit owns Spirit Air, so we may as well check in with the source, right? And make sure that we're correcting our course to stay on track for where we want to go and who we want to be as a spiritual community. So we've got God as our co-pilot, and we have our core values as the checkpoints along the way to make sure that we are making the course corrections that we need to make, and that we end up at the destination that we intend, and that we put in that flight plan in the very beginning. And so now we prepare, as we're in the air now, we prepare to fly beyond any resistance or fear into the stratosphere, where infinite possibility exists. And so that's where we're flying now. We're up, and we're out, and we're going there. We're flying. And it requires for us to move toward the stratosphere, that infinite transformative possibility, that we make a commitment to the destination of transformation, that we commit to that individually and collectively as a community, and that we commit to moving beyond resistances and fears, and that we are willing to try some things that may seem outrageously unusual, like having a service and a picnic together outside in the park. That we might actually not be here at some point, that we might go somewhere else and actually be somebody else, that we may be the community of the future that is Suncoast, and that we're together creating it right now. That's why I keep asking for your participation. I mean it. I don't mean that a couple of people are going to sit in a room and scratch their heads and then come tell you, here's what we're doing. What we're doing is what you decide. What we create together is what we're doing. So get on board the flight. If you're not on board already, we're going to send one of those zip line things down and crank you up into the seat of your choice on this flight. So we make that commitment to go to this destination of transformation together on the same flight. Okay? We're looking for, I'm piloting right now, but we're looking for a permanent pilot. But you're all co-pilots, along with God itself is the co-pilot. Now, sometimes along this journey, it might require a little bit of patience. It's something I've been working on my whole life. Patience. So I'm asking you to help me to work on that. That we might, at times, before we jump into something, require a little bit of patience. And there are other times that we're required to jump into action, to not hold back, to actually move now, do something now. Not stand in one place. It's actually impossible to stand in one place. You're either moving forward or you're going backward, but you're never really standing in one place. So we may as well make a choice, right? It requires, if we want to fly into this stratosphere of transformative possibility, that we be fully present so that we can accurately assess the winds and the other flight conditions as we go and make good decisions and choices, so that before we take action, we've thought about it, we've thought it through, we know what we're doing. We have a good chance of being right on. It requires that we resist the temptation to take shortcuts or quick fixes. Good decisions and moving forward in a good way takes the patience to think it through, to talk it through, to be together on this. The work up front shortens the work on the back end. It requires that we realize that the best way to safely arrive at our destination is to make valuable contributions individually and collectively, to make valuable contributions from who you are, who you've been called to be on this earth, to make valuable contributions that make a difference to your life, to the life of this spiritual community, to the life of this city, to the life of this nation, to the life of this world. Valuable contributions to make a difference, to help to make the world a better place, a place that works for everyone. And it starts right here with you, and then it moves out from there. And so that enables us to fly above resistances and fears into that stratosphere. You know, Franklin Delano Roosevelt said that the only thing that we have to fear is fear itself. And that is so true, because most of the time, it is the emotion of fear and worry and making stuff up that causes us the stress and anxiety. It's not the thing itself. When we get to the thing itself, it's like, well, where did it go? You know, it's like those traffic jams, you know, you're stuck for miles and you're waiting to see where's the accident and there's nothing there. You know, and you're like, wow, you know. So do not, I ask you, do not be a graduate of MSU. Do not make stuff up. Because all you're going to do is scare yourself. You might actually scare a few other people, but, you know, where's the fun in that, really? You know, we do make stuff up, or we live from our history. You know, the origin of most fears, the root cause of most of our fears and anxiety come from our past conditioning, from our childhood, from when we were this big, when we made a decision about something that wasn't safe or something that was scary, and we've never altered the decision since. That's part of growing up. Let go of that stuff. Another big secret, don't tell anybody, there are no boogie monsters under the bed. We made that up. So let go of those fears that hold you back from living your life fully. You know, we're afraid of we got the fear of failure, the fear of rejection, the fear of criticism, the fear of losing something or someone. You know, the fear of change, the fear of the unknown, the fear that we might do something wrong. I guarantee it. You'll do something wrong. Just get over it and move on. I guarantee you'll do many things wrong. How do you think you learn? I mean, think about it. When you were this big, before you even got all those fears, you stood up at the coffee table and you tried to walk, and what did you do? You fell down right away, right? Now, what if you'd given up right then and there? But no, you got back up and you did it again. And that's all we're saying. You're going to make mistakes, so don't fear those mistakes. Glean the insights out of them. You know, if you are held back by any of those fears or resistances, we're really paralyzed to do anything different. We're indecisive. We procrastinate to the point of not getting anything to happen. We use excuses, and all that does is frustrate us and hold us back from the greater yet to be that we already are. So live into it. You know, take a look at your fear. Now, I'm not saying that any fear is bad. I mean, if there's like a tiger about to chomp on you, that's a legitimate fear. And I would not say, hey, poof, you're not real. Whoa, okay, rawr. You know? But sometimes, you know, we have to have some discernment around that. We need to really analyze what's in front of us and say, is this a real tiger or a paper tiger? Is it real or is it an illusion? Because a lot of it's paper tigers, like that boogie monster under the bed. You know, we made it up as a kid and we never let it go. Let some of those go. You know, to really objectively look at paper tiger or real tiger. You know, ask yourself, what am I afraid of? What am I so afraid of in this instance? Or what am I just afraid of in general? You know, what causes me the most fear? You know, step into, first of all, acknowledging what it is, and then we can start to look at, is it real or a paper tiger? You know, list your fears if you have more than one. Nobody here has more than one. But if you were to have more than one, list them in the order in which they have the greatest impact on your behavior, on the greatest impact in terms of holding you back or keeping you from doing something. And that's the fear to confront first, to really analyze, is it real or is it a paper tiger? And then confront those fears, and we literally, as you confront them, they start to go, because there's nothing to them. And we start to dissipate those fears. We reduce the fear, and then we can live into our courage and our confidence and raise that confidence and courage and step out in ways that we've never been able to do before, individually and collectively as a community. It doesn't hurt to try something. It doesn't mean we're putting it in stone. Try things. Take a reasonable risk. Check something out. If it doesn't work, don't do it again. If it works and it's good, keep doing it. You found something. Question and confront those biggest fears and actually turn them around, turn them into power instead of something that paralyzes you. Ask yourself, how does this fear hold me back in my life? How does this fear hold us back in this community? How has it, or how does it help me? Do I think it helps me in some way to be fearful? You may have a legitimate answer to that. It may be helpful. But how can you be even more effective and powerful than fearful? And what would be the payoff for you if you let go of that fear? What's the payoff? What's the reward if you let it go? The other thing is, what's the payoff? Because sometimes there's a payoff in hanging on to the fear, or at least we think there is, and so we hang on, and what's really happening is that fear is hanging on to us, and it's holding us from doing anything else. Right. So think about what would be the payoff if I turned this fear into power and moved me forward instead of held me back. Think about that. And then, feel the fear and move forward anyway. And somebody wrote a whole book on that. Courage and self-confidence. Courage and self-confidence opens up new worlds of possibilities. Suddenly, we are bigger and more powerful, bigger and badder than we've ever been before, and we can do things that we've only dreamed of, or we've watched other people say, wow, I wish I could do that. Well, you can. Don't wimp out. Stand up to that paper tiger. Courage and self-confidence opens up whole new worlds of possibilities. Mark Twain said that courage is resistance to fear, mastery of fear, not the absence of fear. Doesn't mean the fear is going to go away, it just means you get bigger than it. So what would you dare to do or to dream or to be if you had no fear? Think about that. Think about those things that you've sort of put on the back shelf, either personally or as part of this community. What are those things that have held you back? And if there was no fear, what would be possible? Imagine that. It's just gone. Blow it away. Get it out of there. Practice mastering courage. Courage. And this is when we need the cowardly lion. Courage. You can master courage. Move it. We're going to Oz, folks. All right. The first most important act of courage is this: to begin with an intention, to set that destination, that transformative destination of transformation. Set that intention. That's the most important first step of courage. And then to actually launch, take off, step out in faith toward that transformative destination. Move out of your comfort zone. It's strangling you. Move out of the comfort zone. Try some new things. And you know what happens when you step out of your comfort zone? Jane's going to kill me because I'm stepping out of the zone of the video. But you step out of your comfort zone, you move into the awkward zone. You feel like, okay, this feels kind of weird, a little uncomfortable. But pretty soon you're just kind of there and you go, what? I'm not done that. Okay, so I've just now stretched my comfort zone. I have a new normal, a new comfort zone. And if you keep stepping, you keep stretching what is your comfort zone. And new possibilities, new exciting things become available to us. So launch, move out of that comfort zone. Visualize and imagine your transformative destination already realized. Get a vivid mental picture in mind and a feeling, that feeling of exhilaration in your heart, and imagine yourself already living there in that destination. Imagine it. And literally, your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between you already being there and you still being back here somewhere. And you will literally live yourself into the new possibility. Embrace it, embody it fully. And keep your attention on that destination, that vision, that intention, that goal all along the way. Develop wisdom. Wisdom comes from experience, and some of that experience is mistakes and stumbles. They're some of the most rich parts of wisdom that there are available to us. Mistakes and stumbles along the way. We learn tremendously from those. Develop wisdom. The ancient Greeks said that wisdom was a skill for living. That's what wisdom is, skill for living or skillful living. Ecclesiastes teaches wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom, and with all you're getting, get understanding. Get understanding of what's possible. Get understanding of who you truly are. Get understanding of what you're being called to, individually and collectively. Get understanding of one another. Get understanding of yourself. Get understanding of the possibility, and get understanding that that possibility is yours. It's yours. It belongs to you, or you wouldn't even see it on your radar. Embrace the experiences along the way. Reflect and reap the insights and the knowledge that we gain by stepping out, stepping on, stepping forward. It's not just about achieving goals. It's not just about that. It's about becoming who we truly are, what we've been called here to be and to do. You're not here by accident. You're here on purpose. And it's about embracing that and stepping into it. Become who you are called to be. You know, one of the proudest, or one of the most tender, wonderful moments of my life, really, was when my father was dying, and he said to me, he said, I'm so proud of all that you've done in your life. He said, most of all, I'm proud of who you've become. Who you are. Because when we embrace who we have been called here to be, and we become that, then all of our doingness arises out of our beingness, and it is powerful beyond measure. Embrace who you have come here to be. And then around that, develop the qualities and the skills and the abilities and the knowledge that you need to bring that to full potential. It's the greatest gift you can give to yourself and to the whole universe. You know, make your life a masterpiece so that you can make a difference. It is our differences that enable us to make a difference, in fact. That's why we're not all cookie cutters of one another. Otherwise, all of us would be irrelevant except one. Crazy. Commit to landing at your intended destination. Make a commitment to your destination, to that transformative vision and intention that brings us into the sequel, the future of Suncoast. Decide what that is and write it down. Write down what the experience would be like. Not so much the place, but what would the experience be like if we were living into that right here and right now. Set goals, write plans. Yes, there are some doingness things to this as well, but it's begin with the beingness, with the knowingness, with the wisdom, and then we move into the doingness of setting goals and creating plans and revising and upgrading and setting priorities and moving forward and taking action, stepping out in faith, knowing that we're being called if we're paying attention and listening. Keep focused on the dreams and the destinations, not the doubts and the fears and the resistances. The dreams and the destinations, trust me, the energy of that is so much more fun. Doubts and fears, close and big. Dreams and destinations. Stay there, stay at that level of energy. Make continual course corrections along the way and make the upgrades that we need to get where we're going. Practice persistence, self-discipline, dedication, follow through. This requires us to be fully present and fully engaged if we're to go to the next level of who we are personally and communally. Learn and grow from adversity and from the mistakes and the stumbles along the way. I don't know about you, but as a kid, I learned a lot of stuff from all the things I did wrong because I seemed to do a lot wrong. A lot of scrapes and bumps for me, but I learned a lot along the way. Actually, I sort of continued that in adulthood, now that I think about it. Probably still doing it. Makes life interesting. So we can learn from all of that. Herodotus taught that adversity has the effect of drawing out strength and qualities of a man that would have lain dormant in its absence. So there's a gift, even in the bumps and grinds along the way, even in the things that appear to be mistakes or oops or whatever. There's a gift in the midst of all of that. I'm going to do something, I've been talking to you about having courage and uplifting your courage. I'm going to walk my talk, since our affirmation was about walking our talk. I'm not a singer, I'm a flute player. But I'm gonna have the courage to sing a song because I think it says so beautifully what this journey is about, this flight that we've been taking. I first heard this song in Kansas City. A beautiful vocalist sang it, and she had a fabulous band behind her, and the orchestration of it was just tremendous. And I was so taken with it. Came home, and I called up one of my good friends who was one of the musicians in our church, and I said, I need you to, I'm sending you this song, I need you to learn this song because I'm gonna do a whole talk around the song. It's so powerful. She calls me up in a day or so and says, wow, this is really a difficult song. I can't figure it out. I'm like, geez. So I called up my keyboard guy and I said, okay, I'm sending you this song. I need you to learn this song because I'm doing the whole talk around it on Sunday, so I need you to, he calls me up. This is really a hard song. I don't get it. And I'm like, geez, what's wrong with these people? See, I am still human. My halo just slipped down a little. Okay. So I get out my flute and I'm trying. I'm going, whoa, this is a difficult song. Wow, man. So much of what you see in others is true about you. So I go, yeah, this is a difficult song. But I go, geez, I've already put all the stuff, the information out. I'm doing the talk. I gotta have this on. So I thought, well, you're just gonna have to sing it. This is the message I got. You're just gonna have to sing it. I'm going, what? I'm not a singer. I don't sing like for people to actually hear. And I'm like, oh. Okay, so I gotta sing the song, and I gotta do it a cappella. So I did it. It actually went pretty well that day. I'm gonna try it again. Not because I want you to hear my singing voice, but because the message in this song I think is powerful and it really encapsulates all we've been talking about this month on this flight to transformation. So I'm going to give it a shot, just for you. Look at the things I'm doing. But your love is shining in everything I do, and I hear you calling for me, for all roads lead to you. This is the sound of one heart starting to hear. This is a sound of faith stepping out of fear. Oh, the journey of one soul's passage through time. Oh, this is one lone dreamer learning to fly. This is the sound of love pushing out from the storm, calling through the thunder, through the anguish woes. I can feel the winds, feel them beginning to turn. No, this is one small light starting to burn. This is the sound of breath on its way to the sun, calling all God's children to journey as one. I can see us there, see us as clear as the blue. Oh, this is one small voice, it is my gift to you. And your love is shining in everything we do, and I hear you calling for us, for all roads lead to you. That's our journey. Isn't it a powerful verse that says, yes, there's fear, but there's faith that allows us to step out from that fear. There's a storm and there may be anxieties, but we can step beyond it because love calls us forward. That we step out and look at the light of the sun and we move toward that, and we're called. And the universe conspires for us to answer that call and to succeed in fulfilling it. So we're on this journey. We're on this journey together, this flight to transformation, for each of us individually, for all of us collectively, for the one of us that is spirit. Spirit in and through and as us. So we plan and we commit and we launch and we continue the flight. So we're in flight, we're on our way into the stratosphere. Napoleon Hill said, do not wait. The time will never be just right. Start where you stand Work with whatever tools you have at your command, and the better tools will be found as you go along. And those tools are the becomingness of us, each individually, and us together, working together, flying together into the stratosphere. We acquire experience and new and better tools all along the way. That's called evolution. We're evolving as people and as a community. And soon we'll be soaring over the horizon into new heights, flying beyond resistance and fear into the stratosphere, into that infinite possibility of transformation, the continual becomingness of the fullness and the glory of life. We're here on purpose, every single one. It's not an accident that we're here now and that we're here together. It's not an accident. We're here on purpose. So blessings on your journey with Spirit Air, Flight to Transformation, and continue flying beyond fear into the stratosphere. Because your life and the life of this spiritual community will be blessed beyond measure, and we will be a blessing to the world, each of us and all of us. And you and Suncoast will help to create a better world, a world that works for everyone. Blessings on your journey. So